I'd like to introduce John Ortiz. He has been a clinical social worker and mediator for the Boston public school system for the past 12 years. He was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, by a single mom and other family members who pitched in, as well as teachers and neighbors who were not afraid to get into his business. After dropping out of high school and then obtaining his GED, John worked his way through those challenges and earned his associate's degree from a community college in New York, a bachelor's from the University of Massachusetts, Boston, and ultimately a master's in social work from BC. He is committed to providing clinical support to low-income youth of color through individual counseling, group work, and innovative programs. He's been recognized by different youth organizations such as Generation Excel in Jamaica Plain for his excellent service to young people, and he was given an Outstanding Youth Service Award in 2005. He was also recognized by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education and given an Outstanding Performance Award in 2011 through 2013. He's currently a student support coordinator, school social worker, and guidance counselor at the Frederick Pilot Middle School in Dorchester. Welcome, John.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. It's such a great pleasure to be here to support quality youth work. I started working with Urban Improv back in 2005 when one of my students was stabbed on the platform of the Jackson Square T-stop. The community was outraged and responded with pain and passionate organizing. As part of that organizing, I, along with two other nonprofit agencies, connected with Urban Improv and began to pilot a program at English High School. We called that program Youth Unscripted. Urban Improv still runs that program till this day, 10 years later. I'll never forget the time when that same student who had been stabbed turned to a group of about 35 of her peers during an Urban Improv scene and said, if we all do this work together, one day it's going to be considered gangster to walk away from a fight. Seeing that it had come full circle was very powerful for me. That moment demonstrated what quality youth work looks like. Too many of our young people have to deal with major stressors like gang violence, drugs, domestic violence, family members and friends being incarcerated and killed, as well as dealing with the barriers of overall poverty. These stressors are often the products of structural inequities that are caused by racism and other forms of oppression. Our youth of color in Boston are often asked, and without any consideration, to navigate these inequities every day without getting lost or making any mistakes along the way. Our young people need a sustained investment that fosters their voice and creates a space for self-empowerment. That's what Urban Improv does. It's not a place where youth are forcefully shown or taught how to handle these difficult day-to-day life situations. Instead, it's a place where youth are invited in to practice implementing different strategies that they can try to develop in order to get the skills that they need to navigate these situations. Urban Improv presents scenes to young people on topics that are pulled right out of their lives. Right at a critical point of a powerful scene on gang violence, artistic director Toby Dewey freezes a scene. Then he asks the youth in the audience, has this happened to you before? All the kids raise their hand. Yeah. How did you deal with this situation in your life? Kids have their responses. Would one of you be able to come up on stage and show us how you would handle this situation? After youth from the audience join the scene and get to practice their skills and approach, Toby facilitates a discussion with the youth about the pros versus the cons of the choices that were made. Urban Improv provides an interactive, safe, and creative space for young people where their experiences and opportunities to practice making these real-life decisions gives them both head and heart muscle development. They say urban improv is a rehearsal for life, and it is. But it's also a visionary space where we create together, where we get to know our young people, where they are given the sacred space to make mistakes, reflect, and then try again without their futures being permanently ruined. That's most definitely the place where I want to live. And by investing in programs like Urban Improv, we can help strengthen and cultivate the future authors of Boston. By doing this, we honor them and we honor ourselves. It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you the director of Urban Improv, Toby Dewey, and the actors of Urban Improv.